Welcome to the Alchemy of Sex and Spirit, where sex, psychology and spirit meet. In this episode, we'll explore the sex mysteries. And stay until this week's magical practice. It might just change everything. It's very common to hear people say, of course, sex isn't everything. They're wrong. Sex is at the heart of everything. Of course, there's a grain of truth in what they say. Sex isn't everything. It's the essence of everything. Everything owes its existence to sex. Sexual energy is the fundamental force in every being, the most powerful force in nature, the evidence of the existence of God. The Big Bang was a cosmic orgasm, combustion of masculine and feminine energy. At the very epicenter of what we call sex is the mystic heart of our existence. Unraveling the real meaning and purpose of sex explains all secrets of esoteric knowledge, uniting all systems of religions and spiritual paths with modern physics, science, and biology. It's no exaggeration to state that the key to all the mysteries of the universe is to be found in sex. The ancients in the Orient attributed the way to good health and longevity to be through sex. Artists, poets, writers, musicians, inventors, all creative people have an active connection to sexual energy. What we call sex energy is the universal creative force. Ultimately, it's so creative that it can even produce a physical body that contains human life. Whenever sexual energy is aroused, there's a surge of creative energy, which in the right conditions can be harnessed and used for extraordinary purposes: personal health, vitality, guidance, insight and wisdom, mastery over fear of death, knowledge of life after death, and even for great achievements for the benefit of the world. Everybody wants to become all that they're capable of becoming, to realize their full potential. A man or woman who doesn't want to live more creatively is subnormal. Yet most people spend their entire life in work they don't enjoy, feeling frustrated, doing the same things every day without any prospect of expressing their inherent gifts or talents. To be fully human means creating a life that allows you to express your true inner potential. And this is possible for everybody, irrespective of social class, gender, economic status, conditioning, culture, religion, or none. It's through connecting with sexual energy that the universal creative force is awakened, opening pathways in the brain that connect us with inspiration, intuition, creative imagination, and guidance that comes from a higher consciousness than our ordinary everyday thinking. To understand the mystic heart of sex is therefore the most essential of all knowledge. To be a balanced human being, we must live fully and consciously in the body, the mind, and the soul. Nobody can be happy or satisfied unless the body is living fully in every function. To live fully in the mind, a man or woman must have intellectual exercise. To live fully in the soul, there must be love. To live fully in the body, there must be sex energy. To be balanced and creative, a man or woman must have all three. Now, religion and religious thinking has always had a problem with sex. That's because religion views sex through the lens of duality. In other words, it recognizes only two types of sex, either good or bad. To have good sex, religion requires the couple to be married. To indulge in bad sex is to engage in sexual experience outside marriage. The medical profession also recognizes only two types of sex, either functional or dysfunctional. To have functional sex, a man must achieve an erection, the woman a lubricated state, and the couple able to experience penetrative sex. Various therapeutic communities do recognize varieties of sexual behaviors, but still view sex itself as dual. For therapists, sex is either satisfying or unsatisfying. Ultimately, there are 7 types of sex, all with 7 degrees of attainment, making 49 degrees in all. Of these, only 5 types of sex are attainable at this current stage of the evolution of human consciousness. We are now entering an era of sexual consciousness where the 5th type of sex may be experienced by those who are prepared. The first type of sex is what I call outside-in sex. This sex type appears to be modern and progressive, but is ultimately harmful and damaging to the psyche, to relationships, and to society. Yet it's the view of sex held by most men and a growing number of women in Western society. Practitioners of outside-in sex believe that there's a sex force, a power of some kind out there, imagined to be residing in their sexual partner or in images. And the knack involved is to use this external force to stimulate one's mind and body, hoping that it will be strong enough to induce sexual arousal. People who think like this often use intricate mental acrobatics to visualize fantasy scenes that bear no relation to what they're doing. Such frenetic mind play is necessary to cover over pre-existing worries and performance anxieties. Outside-in sex devotees change their partner at the slightest whim, believing that they must change something external to themselves to function. And this is one of the main causes of divorces and relationship breakdowns today. It's scary for people to relearn something so foundational. And many men and women who are attached to the first type of sex avoid relationships altogether, fearing that they're somehow damaged or faulty because they don't believe their body will work well enough in the outside-in sexual world they see around them. Limiting sex to a physical function without connecting to the energy at its source is like turning off the electricity at the mains and wondering why the lights don't come on when you press the light switch. Outside-in sex is modelled by today's massive pornographic industry. Pornography is the god of outside-in sex. This first type of sex may be good for the darker side of business, but it's harmful for relationships and for harmony between the genders. When sex goes wrong, men and women seek help to discover how to get sex right or do it better, rather than to open to the possibility that they might try to experience a different type of sex. The second type of sex is simple sex. This is the sex type that's generally accepted in both Eastern and Western cultures as moral and therefore acceptable. Stereotypically, this is the more feminine type of sex. Simple sex is based upon and fueled not by the fantasies and images of outside-in sex, but by the fantasies and images of romance. To assure safety, simple sex is contained within a monogamous contract, usually that of marriage. So far, so good. But in the need to find this safe, acceptable type of sex, many women develop anxieties attached to their attractiveness. By investing so much energy into attracting romantic love, women fall prey to self-judgment. Eating disorders are an example of anxiety that's leaked out from beneath the weight of attractiveness pressure demanded by simple sex. This is now increasingly affecting men also. Exclusivity and procreation are vital to simple sex, and conception affirms it by deepening the sense of romance and exclusivity. But this period of euphoria is temporary. Babies may be conceived through romance, but thereafter conspire to counteract all attempts by the parents to retain the romantic ideal. Simple sex may not be as simple as it appears. Simple sex is rarely sustainable within long-term relationships, and it's a secret cause of infidelity. Romantic enthusiasm and reproduction makes moral and social sense, but doesn't fulfill the needs of individuals over the full course of their lives. If sex must be fueled with romantic love and confirmed by procreation, time and achievement of the goals erode those two essential components. Sex then becomes an empty routine or perfunctory duty. Some couples are fortunate to experience happiness through simple sex. Many others, however, tell a different story. Sexual relationships retain memories in the psyche and the body, and sexual experiences of demand, anxiety, or boredom create emotional and physical symptoms. When simple sex goes wrong, there's little known about how to correct it. Neither of these two types of sex works in the long term. Both tell us that if you get the external aspects right, you'll somehow become fulfilled inside. The problem is, this seldom happens. The idea that sexual fulfillment is dependent purely upon environment or physical achievement reveals a flawed understanding of the role of energy and consciousness. The third type of sex is inside-out sex. It's the least written about or known. It's somewhat hidden from sight, from ordinary knowledge. Inside-out sex is a paradigm of sex that heals. It's restorative and beneficial to individuals, relationships, and society. The third type of sex isn't based entirely upon physical attraction, but connection. Consciousness and self-awareness fuel the third type of sex. Inside-out sex starts with inner fulfillment, and the body joins in at the appropriate stage. Nothing on the surface appears to change, except that as you shift from one to the other, your entire world changes. Sexual experience is transformed, relationships improve, performance anxieties dissolve, along with sexual dysfunctions. the problem of the aging process and sex are overcome. The first two types of sex are based on physicality or romantic idealism. Inside-out sex starts with feelings and is based on openness, connection, and authenticity. The third type of sex lasts a lifetime, not being dependent upon physical appearance, age, or so-called performance. The fourth type of sex is metaphysical. The word metaphysical is derived from meta, which denotes something of a higher order, a change of condition. Metaphysical sex takes us beyond the physical body and describes sex of a higher order. Maybe when you hear that term, all kinds of images might come to the surface. Sex cults, black magic, people dancing around bonfires and degenerating into open-air orgies. That's not the true experience of metaphysical sex. The fourth type of sex is beyond the ego. When making love through the fourth type of sex, energy is being utilized that's beyond the ordinary physical nerve energy needed to move our arms or legs, to walk or run. Tantric sex, Taoist sex, shamanic sex, Kundalini yoga, all from the East, and sex magic, caressa, or energy sex in the West, all are distinct paths within the fourth type of sex. Metaphysical sex is inaccessible to those stuck in outside-in sex or attached to simple sex. This type of sex is for those who are ready to go beyond the ordinary experience of sex. It's for those whose soul is awakening, those who are developing their higher senses or faculties. The fifth and sixth types of sex are accessed beyond the threshold to higher states of consciousness and spiritual powers. The fifth type of sex is quantum sex. Now, to gradually explain quantum sex and all that it makes possible is a long-term purpose of this podcast. If you enjoy this material and follow the practices at the end of every episode, you'll develop a state of consciousness that will connect you to the magic of the fifth type of sex. One day, even quantum sex will give way to a sixth type of sex, astral sex, which will then subsequently evolve into the seventh type of sex, immaculate sex. By that time, the human body will have evolved further, along with the brain and the reproductive organs. Such awaits a future epoch in the unfolding destiny of humanity. Magical practice. Find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Switch off your phone and take 15 minutes to sit and be still. We'll start with the breathing rhythm that brings stillness to the mind and body. So breathing in and out through the nose. Inhale for 4 counts. Each count at the pace of a resting heartbeat, or about 1 second. Then hold your breath for 4 equal counts. Then exhale for 4 counts. Then hold your breath with lungs empty for 4 counts. After a few rounds or 2 or 3 minutes of this square breathing, Let your breath do what's natural and unforced. Breathe rhythmically, but naturally, until the body's still and the mind quiet. Let each breath settle you deeper into inner stillness. Now imagine a point as defined in mathematics, having position but no magnitude. Concentrate on this point and consider how this imaginary or tiny visible point may be able to expand until it fills everything and everywhere. Contemplate the idea of the divine point present throughout nature in all her aspects. Now choose to consider the essence of the point as the source of all, the essence of everything. Don't analyze your idea, just ponder upon it for now. Now allow the following words to bathe your mind. Love is creativity, the foundation of everything, the sustaining force in the world. Without the creative force, everything would simply perish and die. The creative force is the mother of wisdom, the sister of freedom. Creativity is the mission of the earth. To know the creative force of love is to know yourself. Now close your practice and get on with your day. Thank you for listening. I'm David Brown, and this is The Alchemy of Sex and Spirit.